Good morning. Welcome to another exciting episode of Digital Dada Podcast. Today, my guest, I just don't even want to talk about it because I just want her to introduce herself. I'm Cecilia Maundu. I'm a broadcast journalist. I'm a digital security trainer. I work at the intersection of technology, human rights, and journalism with a focus on countering online abuse against female journalists. Well, today we are on radio, and my guest, please take the show.
You sure want me to take the
Yes,
show,
yes.
Cecilia? You're far too kind. Well, my name is Mwalimu Rachel. That's the name that I'm popularly known by. But my official government name, the name I was given by my parents, is Rachel Modhoninjeru. I always like to introduce myself that way because there was a time my dad told me, hey, why don't you use the Njeru name more? I think he wants to be famous through me.
Of course. He brought you to this world.
So he said, as much as you use Mwalimu Rachel, please use the Njeru name as well. It's a name I'm proud of and I love him. So yes, Rachel Modhoninjeru. Now, concerning what I do, I am a media personality. I'm currently working at Energy Radio. More to that, I have a company called MRX Media Limited. And what we do at MRX Media is we empower young people through mentorship, through financial literacy, as well as talent development. So that's what I'm known for. Other than that, I'm a content creator online as well. And I'm excited to be here, Cecilia. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for even honoring the invite. I remember when I talked to your PA, I was like, okay, this is a long shot. And then she's like, oh, Mwalimu said it's okay. I'm like, what?
That's the misconception I think many people have. Whenever they invite me for, say, an event or such a setup, a sit-down interview, they think I'll say no or it's not up to my league or something like that. But I love having conversations that I resonate with. So with you reaching out to me, I was like, this is a no-brainer. I'd love to have this conversation with you.
In my mind, I was like, this media mogul, where will she get the time to sit down with me? I can imagine the way your schedule is packed.
Oh, yeah.
So when she was like, she said yes, I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
so I was
there's always time. For things you care for, there's always time. You know how they say, if a man is dating you, if he wants to, he will. So if somebody wants to create the time, no matter how busy they are,
they will create
make
the time. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah.
So Mwalimu, you've been in this field for a while.
Yeah.
And you got in at such a young and tender age. First of all, tell us how your journey has been in this media industry.
Wow.
And you flourishing into this young woman who has now their own empire they are running right now. So give us tips, because this podcast mostly is watched by people who are also in the media.
Yeah.
We want to learn tips. We want to take after you.
Sure. My journey has been very adventurous. I'll tell you that. Coming onto the scene when I was at the second year of the University of Nairobi. Shout out, Comrade Power.
I know, Comrade Power, the University of Nairobi.
University of Nairobi. So I was still going to school while being an intern. And back then, you're being spoon-fed, you're being taught. And I remember even how I got into the digital space. My first account was Facebook. And my boss back then literally forced us to get onto social media. Before we were depending on the SMS line, the phone lines to engage with our audience. And he said, no, there's this thing called Facebook. You have to get on board. The IT guy is coming around to open accounts for you by force, by fire. And we were like, okay, we don't know what this thing is, but sour. And then we got on board. And then even when Twitter came about, we were forced to also, now it became a part. It's just, once you've gone into the first account.
The excitement.
Yeah,
yes.
You're like, even this one, what is this Twitter about? Let me see. And then that came by, and then Instagram, and now TikTok and everything.
Yes.
There has been that shift and the evolution of how we engage on social media. And also how that affects my work on radio. because it's instant. People are able to really offer their opinion, and sometimes it gets a bit nasty. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. It's been an adventurous journey because I've seen how things evolve from cute and cuddly on Facebook to mean and crazy on Twitter to lies and perception on Instagram to dancing and all that on TikTok. I mean, every platform has got its vibe, and you have to find a way to create your own vibe within that space, even as much as you understand that maybe for this kind of platform, this is the language that these people resonate with. Na hii ingine, maybe on Facebook, if I speak in Kiswahili, watu wata engage na mimi a bit more, but different on Instagram. You see? So with my radio work, that has been the experience. On a personal level, I have been through it all.
Now I'm coming to that.
The
bad and the ugly.
And the ugly. Yo.
Sorry. Mwalimu, you have, you talked about nasty. First of all, when this social media platform came up, I mean, I'm a millennial, so yeah. We were there during good days of Facebook where we would just write our feelings and people would contribute. Oh, today I'm feeling sad. Oh, what's wrong?
We're here for you.
Oh my goodness. And things have taken a turn for the worst. You remember we would even put our phone numbers and no one would bother you, like big deal, you know.
Crazy.
But now you can't even put your phone number there. You can't even keep telling people in real time where you are because things have taken a turn for the worst. So coming to experience, you've been through online violence, like you've been through it all. And that's why when I look at women like you, I'm like, oh, wow. And you're still standing. Not just standing, you're still there doing your thing. And at Digital Data Podcast, we aim to give women an opportunity to show people that, yes, there's bad things on the digital platform, but there's still good things on the digital platform. Amazing things.
Yes.
And most of the perpetrators of online violence, their agenda is one, to get you off the platform. And you're still there, so you're winning.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So tell us one of the experience that really shook you off and you doubted yourself to be on this platform. And maybe even made you second guess, like, do I really need to be here?
I mean, one that clearly stands out, and this I think will go down in history as the moment I really had to dig deep and really, I don't know how to put it, like to really have that inward conversation within myself. I had to ask myself, do I still want to be on this platform? I had to ask myself, why do people hate me so much? I had to ask myself, why do I care about what people think about me? And my mental strength was really stretched. And that was, of course, during this whole debacle with the group that I was managing back then. Now, there was a lot going on back then. Everyone had an opinion about who is right, who is wrong. Of course, and this is what even my friends told me, people who have been in the digital space also for a while and are on the outside can give you a bit clear advice. And they're like, you know what? People will automatically not like you because, number one, you are coming off as someone who's more successful than these guys.
Of course.
You have more money than them. You have more clout than them in terms of your social media presence. You've been there longer than them. So they are coming off as the weaker entity, and you're coming off as the one oppressing them. Anyone who is ever seen to be bigger or more successful than that little person is already an enemy by default. So accept that. And there's nothing you can say to change their opinion about you. Even if you today change and become Mother Teresa, so long as you are making money and you're doing all these things, they will not like you.
And add the fact that you're a woman.
And you're a woman.
Now it takes it to the other level.
Cecilia, I had to, deactivate my then Twitter account, now, known as X. And by deactivating, I think some people thought I had deleted my account. You can deactivate. It's like you've gone black.
You've taken a
dark,
break.
Yeah, exactly, dark mode. And you don't want to see anything. You don't want people to bother you. I closed off my, people following me. I was like, I don't need this. And that helps a lot because it drowned out the noise.
It does.
But it was difficult when now I still needed to be on Twitter to engage with my audience on radio, because that's the other thing. I never stopped. Not a single day, Cecilia, did I not show up for work. And that's another thing that made people hate me even more. And they were calling out to my employer to fire me. No. Oh, yes. Because it was happening just before the whole Shafi situation.
Yes.
So now everything was being brought back to, oh, but this one is still on air. And there's this controversial issue going on. Why are these ones being fired? You see, women are favored. Anything that would happen during that time where, say, the male gender was being called for accountability,
yes,
I would be dragged into it. And there was even a court case, that was going on at that time. And not a single day did I miss work.
What gave you the motivation to wake up every day? It's
I
important
prayed a lot.
for people, for fellow journalists like yourself, because some people have actually quit the profession.
Yes. Imagine ni maombi. Number one, you have to seek a higher power than yourself. You must. If you are a believer of, whether it's the universe, God, a supreme being that just gives you extra strength, and you cry out to them and they are able to just give you that extra strength to go out into the world, to remind you of why you are amazing, you are special, you are brought here for a purpose. And there will be obstacles, okay? I mean, I listened to a lot of motivational music as well, because I love music. I'm in that space after all.
Yes.
So music that will get me up and going and remind me that this is only for a season. It's not forever.
Yeah, nothing is permanent.
Yeah,
yes.
and this too shall pass. Leaning on to family, super important. Being with my mom on the phone, and my dad and my siblings and people who really know you, and they tell you, forget them. Come, we hang out. Come, let's chill out, That helps also a great deal. Staying off social media, but not entirely. I only stopped speaking like on Twitter. But on like Instagram, on Facebook, I would post one or two things, maybe regarding the show. Nothing too personal, okay? So that you don't give somebody a chance to just come and bash you. Sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't, but you move on. So that, and of course, the love for what I do is greater than any hate that can come by. Any entity online that I don't even know. I don't know these people. They know me. They can search me on Google or whatever. They listen to me. They connect with me. But I don't necessarily know them that deep. So it's a faceless enemy, okay? And once you keep on reminding yourself of that, then you become stronger day by day. So it really helped.
There is this organization, it's called PEN America. PEN America have an online harassment manual where you, as journalists, you can educate yourself on how to combat online violence. And one of the things they keep saying is leaning on community, especially family and friends. Yes. And I like it the way you put it, like of family really stood by you, because some people go through it alone. I interviewed a certain journalist, and she said at that moment she felt so alone. Yes, she felt so alone.
Yeah.
And also, I would like you to speak on support from employers and media. Yes, because she was saying even my own employer was wondering what is happening, but they were not reaching out and asking me, are you okay? Because she said one time she was just told, can you shut the noise online? Tell them something. She's like, I'm dying inside.
If it was that easy, I would have done it.
Yes. Yes. So now that you're a media mogul yourself, how can employers better handle this? Because they play a very key role.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Wow, like you can imagine my shock when I started seeing me, trending almost on a daily for
I saw
week,
that
2 weeks.
I was like, oh my God.
And everyone is calling out, leave alone the death threats, calling
You
out
got
for
death
me.
threats?
Oh, yes, I did. That's another, for me and my son. That's another conversation altogether. But them even calling out for me to be suspended or to be sacked and everything. And I remember my boss actually called me to his office and asked me, how are you doing? I can see. Don't think I don't see. I see what's going on. How are you holding up? And I almost broke down, because I was like, I don't understand why all this is happening to me. The most Kwanza, you know, when you're always on the straight and narrow, you always follow the rules. You're always the one on the right side of the law. You're like, I don't deserve this. I know people who do much worse things. Who deserve this? I don't deserve this.
Why me?
Why me? And he said, you know what? Sometimes these things happen to make us stronger. And don't worry about anything. You're not going anywhere. That's what my boss told me. You're not going anywhere. You are professional. We know you. You have conducted yourself in nothing but professionalism. Go do your job. Thrive. Go do your job. You imagine when you get that and you can say anything. Nisawa. It's okay. Me, I know I'm not going anywhere because this thing was not being fought in the court of public opinion. This was an issue that was in the law courts. And I won the case, you know, and that's also something I did not even come out bragging.
Yeah, because I didn't
people.
hear that part. No.
It's not for them. Me, I know what I had to do. I know what I went through, and I will go through it and continue on with life, you see. So if you have a supportive employer, number one, you will know your value really when such things happen. This is what I came and reflected later. You really know the value that you have within this organization if they have your back like that. Because they also know, I mean, this is not a tea, we are buddies. It's a give and take. You know what I bring to the table.
I bring something to the table. That's why you have me there. Yes.
Thank you. You know the strengths that I have. You know the numbers I rake in. You know the value I give to this organization. It would be of a greater loss for you to just kick me out unceremoniously, you know? And you have to stand by that truth and the value that you know you bring to the table. Now, if I was, on the other hand, let's be real. If, you know, you were not there consistently, you sometimes did not offer your very best at work. If you were not top tier, you're possibly like, is it worth all this trouble?
Is it worth me keeping you?
Is it worth it? I can get somebody here and they'll give me the same hype or even better. So, they won't think twice. So it all starts from, who are you? Who are you? In your place of work, what do you bring? What is the value that you bring on that particular show or, you know, whatever it is that you're doing?
So now, Rachel, you brought in the issue of your baby. And one thing about online violence, it only not affects the individual, but also their families.
Yes.
What did you do to protect your child? Because now we are living in an era when these kids are just online. It's no longer like those, you know.
Hey, Cecilia, I had to have a very honest conversation with my boy. I told him everything that was going on. Because I remember there was a time I was even in the papers. You know, there was no running away from this. He's not online, so he will miss out on that. No, I was in the papers. I was in the magazines. And I knew somehow there's a kid, maybe a classmate who will come. And it did actually happen in the neighborhood where one of the kids came and told him, oh, I saw your mom in the newspaper. She didn't know exactly why I was there, but she saw my picture. And I think the parent tried to just not tell her everything, you know. But I said, if already they can see me there, then there'll be another kid there who will now see the story, or the parent will not really shelter them from whatever has been written, tell them, and then they will come and tell my son. You see?
Yeah.
So I was ready for any eventuality. And I sat him down and I told him, you know what, JJ, here's the thing. Mommy got into a little bit of a situation. I remember these guys I was working with. There's these allegations. There's this and that. This is what has transpired since then. And I just want you to know I'm handling it. And should anybody come and try to make you feel bad about this or say something mean, just say, I know. My mom told me, I know. Because, you know, they'll always come in that angle of, oh, did you know? Do you know? Do you know? And if he's caught like a day in the headlights and off guard, then he'll feel really bad and attacked. But if he knows what's going on, like, yeah, I know. We talk about it with my mom. It's cool. You know, she's handling it. Then I have prepared him and he was prepared for anything. I've always spoken to my son like, not like a baby, you know, like from even when he was learning how to speak. Because I am a communicator myself for many years, you know. So I want him to communicate better and also for him to understand things that may seem a bit complex for his age, but I'll try to do it in a way in which ataelewa. Unaona? So I sat him down, I told him everything, and I was like, wow, that's what's been going on. I was like, yeah, okay. So thanks for telling me, now I know. And at that time he was what? 8 years. Another thing that I did eventually is we had to move out.
From where you were living?
Where we were staying. Because again, the people that I used to associate with then knew where I lived. And they even knew the school that he used to go to. So I had to move him away from that school as well. Yes.
That's very, very important. Those are some of the measures that you take, because when you talk about death threats, it's not something you just take lightly, you know. And did you go to the police, like, reporting? Because I'm coming from the point, there's a lot of underreporting when it comes to the issue. And then when you're trying to create a policy, there's no data to support what you're talking about. Did you go to the police and report it?
I didn't, Cecilia. Do you know why? Because it's not taken seriously in our country. And that's a fact. That's a fact.
And that's something we need, we need to change that.
Yeah, we don't have a department. And if there is, maybe
there's a gender desk now, but I'm yet to meet somebody who can.
And also somebody who's been through it, who said, I went, I reported. They were able to track down the IP address, and they found him, and now he's in jail, or there's a case. You get? But most of these people tell you, they keep on changing their devices or IP address, so we can't really track them, or this is a small issue, let it pass. And at that time I already had so much going on. So to be honest, I just said, you know what, I will do what I can and make these changes for me and my son, and hopefully things will die down. They did. And here we are.
Well, that really bothers me, because if we are to find a solution, coming from the issue we were discussing before we came to the show, we talked about the issue of digital gender divide, how women are not online, and that is backed up by research.
Yes.
And one of the things that is keeping women offline is because of the issue of online violence. And we need to find a solution. And one of the greatest solutions is find legal ways of dealing with these online bullies who are making life difficult for people like you. So you had a Twitter space the other day. I was so excited, because I was like, the media needs to do more to enlighten the public. First of all, what brought up this idea? And you had amazing guests. I've had Dr. Bright here on my show. I still need him on my show, and he's been telling me he's going to come back. I hope he watches this. Send him a message and tell him I'm still waiting for him here. What brought this idea? And especially from because your audience is a young population, and it's so good to reach out to them, because there's also the issue of, I know that one is for old people. So what brought this idea?
Well, first of all, the month of October is Cyber Security Awareness Month. And I guess many people didn't know that.
Yes.
For a while now, again, because of being in the media space and everything, whenever October comes by, the first thing that always jumps up is Cancer Awareness and Breast Cancer Awareness Month, right? Which is great. And it's always good to sensitize the public about early detection and checking yourself and all of that. But I wanted to talk about something different, because this has also been done, and there are many people doing that awareness about breast cancer. So I was like, okay, this seems like it's being tackled by majority of the people. But I was like, hey, this other thing called Cybersecurity Awareness Month, what's that about? Because now more than ever, Kenyans and young Kenyans are in this digital space. They are taking it seriously as passive income or their main source of income. And we're always looking out for how we can collaborate with and partner with other organizations to make money and all of that. So it's very important for us to know how to protect our spaces, how to conduct ourselves, the telltale signs that this may not be a legit link and stuff like that. Because we've seen them in the DMs and people are trying to scam us and all that.
All that, yes.
So catering to my young audience who are maybe already on this space, but they've never taken protecting their social media platform seriously. I'm also serving those that are about to come in or have just come in and they don't know how to navigate. They don't know about passwords. They don't know about,
Encryption.
Yes. And, the second step verification.
Yes, two-factor authentication.
Two-factor,
Yeah.
exactly. So while they are also learning, I'm also learning because I learned a lot from you, from Dr. Bright. I didn't even know a strong password is the one that has spaces.
Yeah, especially if you put space. Yes.
Yo, trust me, all of my passwords have now changed.
And when we hear such things, we get so excited because if we can reach just one person.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you see, even my own staff now, they have done the same and they also learned. So it really made an impact. So that is the reason why I decided to have that conversation and that Twitter space. And the response was really encouraging. And we need to have more because it's really
we
vast.
need more.
It's a big conversation, big
yes.
topic. And we need to break it down so that it's even easier to be digested by our online community. So for even the young people who are now winning awards, and you see many of these awards are for online personalities, nani, okay? Let's not forget that, now you are a business. You as a person, as a personality, you are a business. How do you protect your business? The same way people make sure they have lawyers, they have, contracts, they have all these things. Now this is your business. The social media is how you protect
the
it.
shamba you were talking about earlier.
I was telling you, I have now those 4 shambas.
Yes.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Okay, now LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Do I need to be more active on LinkedIn?
No, you need to. Yes.
You see, so protect your shamba, build that fence. The same way, hata mtu akiwa na shamba anajenga ukuta ama that barrier so that you can't go beyond this point. Yeah.
So as the media, what can we do more, especially talking about the issue of online violence that is fast, and also the issue of online safety, digital safety to the public? What more can we do?
It must start from us. It must start from us, Cecilia. If you see something online and you know it's wrong, it's not right, the way people are coming at someone, they may be right or wrong, then that's your opinion. But if in your heart of hearts and you feel compelled to say something, to just, whether it's to create some sort of reason, then do it. And I've been bashed for that, whereby somebody could be out, and especially on Twitter, where X is known for that.
And Kenya has a CV. Yes.
You get. It's always fun whenever we're doing this country.
Now they're called what? Now that Twitter is no longer called Twitter. It's X.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you see, when it's that beef inter-countries, it's like, we are together, we rally. Like, it's fun. It's fun. And it's hilarious. But when it's within ourselves and we're bashing somebody, ayapana. So have those conversations, even on our own personal spaces. If you're not willing to go and speak up on Twitter, maybe have an episode on Instagram. Say something on your website. Speak on it on radio.
Yes.
Any platform where you've been blessed to be at. It's a blessing to have this mic in front of us.
Oh my goodness,
and this camera.
Yes.
It is a privilege. And you reach masses on a daily basis. You have a strong, your voice is heard. You see? So how are you using it for good? How are we using it to change people's perceptions and making things a bit clearer? Because most of these people is from ignorance. They don't know.
It's true.
They don't know what they're doing. And also, for the people who are on the receiving end of the violence, the online violence, get into their DM and say something.
Oh.
I've
never thought about it.
Tag them. Because those messages, I remember when I was going through it, and it was those messages that also kept me going. People who, they don't want that back and forth online, so they'll not say anything on the timeline, but they will quickly come on the DM and tell me, I stand with you, Mwalimu. I'm sorry for what you're going through. You're not alone. Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. They just don't like you because of 1, 2, 3 things, you see? But I always felt, and especially those that are, let's say, the Twitter bigwigs, I always felt like you're not really my friend if, and maybe it's also coming from a place of hurt at that time, but I felt you have a large audience that listen to you. why don't you go and defend me in public? Don't just come to my DM.
Go.
Because at that time I was hurting. Unaona? Uchungu wakati huo ilikuwa inaniambia kwa nini usinitetee hapo? If you really believe in what you're telling me in the DM, sema hapo ndio watu wengine waone na wataheshimu your word. Unaona?
Yes.
And I even called out some people on it. I said, don't come to the DM. You have a platform and a stage where you can shout and say something that would show your loyalty or your friendship to me, and that will hold more water in my books. Because here you're hiding. Why? Why are you hiding? And you know the truth. Why not say it and proclaim it in front of everybody?
And you know, Rachel, we see it so many times. You see a female journalist going through it online, and no one is even putting, like, these big wins that you're talking about. No one, and it's just a one-liner. You know,
especially if you know them.
Yes.
You know, it's different if I don't know you.
Yes.
I would stay quiet. Let me be honest. Like, if I don't know you, nitanyamaza. Because I'm like, I'll now probably go on the DM and say, Pole, whatever. But if I know you, we have hung out, you say you're my friend, that's a different ballgame. That is the true test of friendship, isn't it? So.
And it's the same thing you were saying that you put a comment under that. We always even say, even as journalists who are not in the public domain, you see a woman being bashed online. Sometimes it's good to say something. Like, and it doesn't have like to be something that you are counterattacking. You just say, you know, you can even put it as a positive comment. Yes. I really like the work you're doing. So also these online bullies, you know, as much as you're bullying this person and saying all this negative, there are people who
exactly are rallying behind you.
That's why we talk about forming cyber communities. We've seen in Kenya there's this thing called manosphere, you know, where the men will come lethal and say everything. And I was told these people are so organized. They have WhatsApp group. They even say this weekend we are discussing this. And I was telling my friend Nerima, like, I wish we could do the same. Like, have something also to counterattack, like tell them, you know, like, we see you. You know, we see what you're trying.
Full-blown war.
Because
are we ready for that?
And you see, we were talking about patriarchy. We live in such a patriarchal society. Rachel, if you are not a woman, some of the things you went through during that experience with this group, they would not have come out.
It's true.
But the fact that you are a young woman, they're like, oh, no. You know, if it was a man, like, oh, no. You know, so most of the things that came after you is because you're a woman. And we are not playing victim.
Exactly.
We are not playing victim.
I never played victim. So I look at it differently. Yes, the gender aspect does have, you know, weight, right? But I also look at it this way. It's also because I'm in the public domain. Yeah. Because the other women who would have, hata hawajulikani, nobody would bother. You see, nobody. There have been even other issues that have happened. Ilienda tu chini ya maji. Because hawajulikani. But if you've made an impact in one way or the other, and you've stomped, you know, your presence is known, you're vocal online, you're seen on TV, you are on stages. And so now, because of that, you put yourself out, the more out there you are, the more likely people are going to now start looking for ways to bring you down, or whether you're a man or a woman, okay? So that's how I look at it. It's like, it's the sacrifice that comes with the job. It is you have to live with it one or the other and try to see how you can manage it. There's some times I even tell myself, you don't have to say anything online. Yeah,
sometimes you
hold your
silence can go a long way,
especially when you're also rising in certain ranks. Don't say too much online. Like, jitoe kidogo. Okay, be scarce a bit. I have those seasons where I'll even see I'm updating like on Twitter, on Instagram, and then the days I go quiet. I'll only just post something about the show and that's it. I won't really be there talking about, this is my opinion about this matter, or about this case and so and so. You know, I'm not that commentator. So pia, when to speak, when to be quiet. There's a season for everything. You know? Yeah, that's how you manage.
And what advice would you give other female journalists like yourself who have experienced online harassment, who are still going through it? And let me tell you something. After that, it will be something else.
Oh, yeah.
Mwalimu is done with this. Now we come to this. So what advice do you have for them? Because I don't see the situation changing anytime soon, unfortunately, but we are not giving up.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give?
To my sisters out there who are in the media space, first of all, accept that. If you're going through it, accept that this is happening to you. Okay? Sometimes I would feel like it's an out of body experience. Like, this cannot be me going through it.
I know.
But I'm so nice. I've been so good. I've helped my community. I have empowered so many young people. Why would they be the same? And by the way, it would happen. The same people I even once helped personally. Give them opportunities. You see them on the timeline bashing you. I just blocked and I moved on with life. There's so many people I blocked, my goodness. So anyway.
And that's why we have the block button.
Yes, but then use it. That's my other advice.
Yes.
If that is your way of venting and, letting out how you hurt you feel, use it. Block. Me, I block so many people. I started being the joker. Ngoja uone atamblock. And I do. Mtu anakama ngoja wewe utablokiwa na mwalimu. And I do block. Unaona? Nimekuwa master blocker. That is how I protect my space.
And it is important.
It's the only thing I can do at that time because I don't want to start kutusiana na watu. First of all, me hata sijui kutusiana na watu online. I wasn't raised like that. When even times of mchongo now I'd cry. When we were kids. I don't know how to fight back with words. Me, I know how to fight back with action in terms of my success, my work, me showing up every day, me not letting people, drown down my happiness. That's how I fight back. So any other way, mimi sijui. So to my sisters out there, okay, accept that, yes, this is happening to you. You need to surround yourself with so much love. This is the time you need it the most. It's not the time for you to isolate yourself. And I know that feeling of, I want to bury myself, nilale tu, cover myself kwa kitanda, sitaki kutoka. You don't want to draw the curtains. You don't want to go outside. I get it. But don't do that. Get yourself your people, your friends. Go out on lunch dates. Go and cry to them. Invite them over to your house and have a night, a girl night, or if it's your brothers and sisters, go to your up country. Kwanza, that period I really went to my home, Embu. Big shout out to all my Ambians. Nilikuwa naenda tu kwa mama na baba. I'm like, I just want to be around you people. At that time, I felt like such a child. I was like, protect me from all this. And they'd say, come, sit, let mommy cook for you. Enjoy that warmth from your parents. Talk to them on the phone as often as you can. And you'll discover that even when you don't want to talk to them, they will always call you. Pick up the phone. Hata kama unalia, say, pick up. Don't give up on them. They have not given up on you, okay? Another thing is take some time off from social media, okay? And especially if your job doesn't demand you to be online, don't be. Toka. That's the time for you now to connect with the real world. Sana, okay? Take yourself out into nature. If it's going to Karura Forest, have a nice picnic by yourself. I know, because this is something I also went through a lot. You meet with people and then they look at you and you're wondering, what are you thinking as you look at me right now? It's like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? You're thinking of the saga I'm going through as you speak to me right now. It feels like it is over here on your forehead.
Put it on your forehead.
So when that happens, you still show up. Don't hide. Show up. You're invited for events. Go. When people ask you, hey, nimeona hiki tu online. Yeah, but this life, it's tough, but we are here. Admit that, yeah, I'm going through it, but I'm here, aren't I? So that shows you I'm not dead. I haven't given up on me. Don't feel sorry for it. I'm good. I'm in here. I think that's the most I can advise them to do. And then get back in. Come back. Once the fire has died down and something else has happened in the universe that has distracted people,
you sure?
Slowly but surely crawl back in. Because you know why you're there.
Yeah.
Me, I'm not there for it. Just fun and games, Cecilia. I'm there to, one, strengthen my brand, make money, and thrive and impact the other generation. So it's bigger than just me, to be honest. Yeah. So
I like that.
Yeah, you know why you're there. Go back. Get back in there.
As we come to the end of the show, how can we collectively, as media, as the government, because this is not a one person show, and especially the media, people like you who have this mic and so powerful in this country, how can we sensitize people that online violence is real? And that's why I bring women to talk about it on the show, because real people are affected. Mwalimu, just because it's online doesn't make Mwalimu not a human being. She is a human being. So what can we do? Because we have to start with ourselves. Yes, what do we bring to the table to help this issue?
Talk about it as often as possible. Speak on it. Advocate for change. Look at the organizations that are responsible, call them out on it in terms of, hey, are you doing something about this? Let's ask for, like, for instance, we'll talk about these death threats online, and who do we go to if somebody has been bullying me online and offering death threats? Where is that department? Who do I need to speak to? It will be maybe slow, but stick, be persistent. We have to be persistent because that's the only way we'll see that change that we want. It starts with us, and then now we demand for more from the government, from these bodies that are responsible for the change that we want to see. So I think with that, we will be heading in the right direction. And having platforms such as these. So congratulations for being a soldier in the war against
online violence.
Wow. Cecilia, thank you.
One of the reasons I started Digital Dad, I remember I approached a certain editor and I told him, I want to do this story on online violence. And he turned and looked at me and said, is that real violence? Really? And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to start a podcast to talk about this issue.
Yeah.
And my podcast, I wanted to do it through storytelling. Let women come to this platform and tell their own stories so people can know. You're not a victim. You're a victor because you stood this. Because Mwalimu, oh my goodness, you went through it. My God. I was like, oh no. And you see now the group you're dealing with was also very big in its own way. I was like, but I'm so glad to see you here. And again, thank you so much for coming here. I'm looking forward to see what your organization is going to do in terms of cyber security awareness. Yes. I'm always on the other side of the phone in case you need anything. I'm on the,
Thank you.
Yes, please, let's do this, especially for the young people like yourself. So I'm going to give you this opportunity to end this show because... Yes. Now, take the mic.
Sasa nimalize show.
Yes, mimi nakaa tu hivi.
Unataka nianze kumaliza kama vile unamaliza radio show yangu.
Sasa maliza Mwalimu.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay. So to everybody who's listening to this and watching this, thank you so much for according us your precious time to be here, and for being a follower and a member of Digital Dada. Thank you for supporting Cecilia, and thank you for giving me time to have this space with you. And let's continue having more of these conversations. It's a safe space for us as women, and especially those of us in this, media world, because sometimes I think we are always the ones asking the questions.
Yes.
Not many people get to ask us
exactly
those questions. Okay. So keep it here for more amazing content.
Thank you so much. I've got nothing to add. Thank you so much, Mwalimu.
Karibu sana.
Asanteni sana. See you on the next episode.